without question, without doubt, the Harry Potter franchise is one of the most successful, beloved, and popular movie franchises of all time. And of course, it came out of one of the most popular and beloved book series of all time with Harry Potter. Now, after Harry Potter ended with Deathly Hallows Part 2, they decided to take a swing at the bat and go with Fantastic Beasts. Now, I will tell you, I like the Fantastic Beasts films. I do. But they never felt like the world of Harry Potter to me. And I've heard that from other people as well, that it just never felt like Harry Potter, at least until The Secrets of Dumbledore, when they actually go back to Hogwarts and you're actually there. Then it started to feel a little bit like Harry Potter again. Anyway, we know that David Zaslav at HBO and Warner Brothers really, really wants to be able to dive into the Harry Potter stuff. He's talked about it and referenced it many times over the past year. Well, now, according to a story in Bloomberg, it looks like Warner Brothers, according to the trades, is close to finalizing a deal to doing a Harry Potter reboot series.
You're a series, Harry.
A Harry Potter reboot series. And this would be, for good or for ill, monumental. This would be absolutely monumental. Here's the stuff you need to take away from this. So it's first of all important to point out that they say the deal is close. It is not done, according to the sources at the major trades. It's not like the deal has been signed, sealed, and delivered. It's still in negotiations, and they're still trying to make it happen. But apparently they're getting close. So that's the first thing. The second key point here is that the way they want to approach it, according to the story, is that each book will be an entire season. So whereas with the Harry Potter movies, each book, other than Deathly Hallows, was represented in one movie, they believe there's enough story there to tell in each of the books to do a season based on each book. Also, J.K. Rowling would not be the showrunner of this, nor would she be credited as the creator of the series, but rather she would have creative input, which, I mean, she is the creator of the entire world of Harry Potter. So her having creative input would, I would go so far as to say, probably completely necessary. Also, the series would be for HBO Max, or whatever they're about to change the name of HBO Max to. I think they're changing the name to Max, which is completely idiotic. That's a terrible name, especially with the name HBO being so iconic and so identified with quality programming. Absolute idiocy that they're changing the name away from HBO. But whatever, that's a separate thing. It would be destined for HBO Max. And lest any of you have the temptation to do what I actually did myself, which was, it hasn't been long enough to do a Harry Potter sort of thing. The movie's turning the first movie came out almost 22 years ago.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
No.
But it's true.
I hate it.
All of it nearly in November. It'll be 22 years since that first Harry Potter. And I understand it feels like it was last week, but 22 years. Listen, there is going to be, when you go down this, there's going to be a lot of, okay, let me tell you what I like about this first. Then I'll get into some things that maybe give me some pause. I like the notion of expanding out on it and taking each book and making it like an 8, 9, 10 episode season out of it. Because some of these tomes, some of these books are like 500 plus pages. And, you know, the general screenplay is the average screenplay. It works out to be about 100 pages. So, I mean, there's content there to be mined. Also, with the success of Hogwarts Legacy, is that what the game's called, Hogwarts Legacy?
Mm-hmm.
Hogwarts Legacy, the game, which my wife is loving. I mean, there's a lot of story you can tell around there. And you can even expand beyond the core 3 characters and do something really, really interesting. So I like that. I also like the idea of just getting Harry Potter back on the screen. I think that's going to be something that will intrigue a lot of people. All right. There's the other side of the coin, though. I have said that you could be looking at the first $3 billion film in history if they could go and get the original cast back and do another Harry Potter movie. Harry Potter, the They're now adults, all that kind of stuff. You go back and get Daniel Radcliffe, Emma, Rupert, you get those three back and you do another one. I am telling you, you are potentially looking at the first ever $3 billion film. But are Potterheads going to be open to the idea of a Harry Potter on screen who is not Daniel Radcliffe? And as somebody who is not a Potterhead, I don't have the answer to that. I know as a non-Potterhead, you know me, I'm completely open to reboots and restarting something and trying to tell a story again, maybe in a little bit of a different way. I'm totally open to it. But will the hardcore Potter fans be against it? Or could it be something like a House of the Dragon situation, where a lot of people who were kind of pissed off at Game of Thrones because they didn't like the final season and said, the new show's going to suck. If they put it out and it's just really excellent, will it win people over like House of the Dragon did? Those aren't exactly the same situations, granted, but I think there's a principle in there. I don't know. Listen, lest we forget, as much as everybody praises and lauds Last of Us, remember when they first started making it and they casted Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey and all that kind of stuff, the narrative online about Last of Us was very negative. It was like a lot of people went down a YouTube rabbit hole about how this show's going to suck and blah, 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 blah. But it came out, it proved its worth, and it became a global phenomenon. I have no doubt that if this goes through, that you're going to hear a lot of backlash at first. Then the question will become, if they make it excellent, like up to HBO standards, will people come around on it? Like we saw with House of the Dragon, like we saw with Last of Us. Again, not apples to apples comparison. I acknowledge that, but I don't know. Chris, I think most people are like, we're all very open to the idea of new Harry Potter content. Is going back and redoing the books in a series format the way to do it? What do you think?
I mean, I don't think so. Because it doesn't feel like it's been 20 some odd years. It feels very, very present, especially because these actors are still working and we see them, right? And so I think maybe you do the, hey, if we could get all of them together, let's explore Harry being an Auror and go into like wizarding law enforcement and all of that stuff that they do after Hogwarts. You go back and you revisit the Marauders and do stuff about, James and Sirius and do those kinds of stories that really there's a lot of room to flesh those out. I just think too, this whole bit with HBO being like, well, JK is going to be like kind of involved, but not really, is them trying to kind of placate both sides of people who either don't mind JK Rowling or are firmly against her. It feels very wishy-washy about, like, she's kind of involved, but not really, so maybe still watch our show. And that just seems like a very flip-floppy stance. I don't know. I don't think people would really like this, but I could be wrong. Maybe they could do it really, really well. I just feel like doing it as a series makes you go, oh, hey, these books are pretty similar throughout. Man, why do they keep sending kids to this forest? And they really should check their basement. This is negligent.
Okay, but let me ask you then. Let's say what it seems like you and I both think would kind of come about here, which is an initial pushback, right? I think there's going to be a lot of people who are Harry Potter fans that will initially, what would you think they could do to win those people over? Like, I mean, the one thing I think of, obviously I've already said, is that if the show comes out and it's just purely excellent, but is there anything else that they could do to get, like, in the probably 2 years it'll take from when they officially announce it to when it actually comes out, to get people on board with it? Or is it just something they're just going to have to take the online backlash until the show comes? I don't know. What do you think they could do?
I mean, I suppose you could do some fan servicey kind of casting, have Tom Felton play Malfoy Sr., have them come back in and kind of do some different roles here, have them play the different professors or other side characters and see how that kind of works with folks. But I do feel like it's a little... It just doesn't seem like the right move. I don't know. And again, I just feel like people are in this place with the IP itself of just not being big on Potter right now. At least that's my viewpoint of it. I was somebody who grew up with the books and the movies, and I really, really loved them, and I appreciated what they were for me as a kid and everything. But I just don't need to participate in that IP right now. That's how I feel.
See, here's the thing though. That freaking game came out and it, like, shattered all kinds of records. Like I think and with the 20th anniversary thing they put up on HBO, I mean, again, as a non-Potterhead, it seems to me like the passion for this Potter universe is as hot as ever. I mean, with the game sale numbers and all that kind of stuff, it seems like there is a hunger for it. The question is this the dish they want to feed their hunger with? And I ain't so sure that it is or not. It's going to be interesting to see how this transpires. Guys, question is for you. I think most of us agree there's a big hunger out there for more Harry Potter content, but do they want a rebooted Harry Potter? Maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe it's what they need if they think they need it or not. Maybe it's a terrible idea. I'm not sure. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip the trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit. And there's no worries if you're not a pro in the kitchen. HelloFresh's foolproof recipes arrive pre-portioned and easy to prepare in just a few steps. You'll be feeling like Gordon frickin' Ramsay in no time. And guys, look, we're always looking for more ways to save money. HelloFresh is cheaper than grocery shopping and 25% cheaper than takeout. I've told you guys before, Ann and I love using HelloFresh. Not only is it really easy to put together fantastic looking and tasting meals, but it's also a lot of fun, and you get this really great sense of accomplishment when you're looking at this prepared dish that you've made with your own hands. So go to hellofresh.com/Campea50 and use the code Campea50 for 50% off, plus your first box ships free. That's hellofresh.com/Campea50 and using the promo code Campea50 for 50% off your first box ships free. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit.